you for staying with us. It's still Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Daniel Momo, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you, as always. And to the story, the National Working Committee at its emergency meeting today, Tuesday, April 23, 2024, reviewed the issue of the Caretaker Committee of Rivers State. After an extensive deliberation of the National Working Committee, noted the existence of an ex parte order issued by the Federal High Court, Abuja, restraining the National Working Committee from further action with respect to the status of the Rivers State Caretaker Committee list as published. However, while the Rivers State Caretaker Committee list as published stands in compliance with the order of the court, the National Working Committee notes the concerted intervention and efforts of various organs of the party, particularly the PDP Governors Forum, to finding a political solution to the issue of the Rivers State Caretaker Committee. The National Working Committee therefore resolved to, in conjunction with the PDP Governors Forum, intensify action in the continuing consultation to resolving the conflicts of the Rivers State PDP chapter amicably. Signed, Honorable Debo Ologunagba, Publicity Secretary. Now, Mr. Daniel, when you look at the issue of Rivers State Caretaker Committee list, it appears to be shrouded in a lot of issues between the governor rejecting the caretaker list. And now the National Working Committee has said the list stands because of an ex parte order. Now, what do you think about this whole issue about Rivers State Caretaker Committee list?
First of all, I think all of this is politics.
Okay.
One. Two, I think it's a betrayal on the leader of the party in this. By convention, the sitting president usually is the leader, the national leader of his political party.
Okay. The
governors are the leaders of that subnational, of that state, state A, state B. The governor, the executive governor, is usually the leader. In other words, he leads, others follows. And the governor, not just rejecting, he denounced those lists. And when you say an ex parte, because I'm surprised, because it is said that when you put nothing on anything, it can stand. The first question to be asked, did the list emanated from you in the first place? If you say because of an ex parte order, what did not emanate from me did not emanate from me. It's not my list. You can't make what is not alive and you are saying, oh, you gave birth to this baby. No. The truth should be told. Was that list from the PDP? Because ab initio, the governor said no. From the agreement that we have had, from the consultations so far, that list did not emanate from the PDP National. So if you are saying that a court is saying that because of an ex parte order that let all parties stay action, did the list emanate from you? If it didn't emanate from you, it's not yours. No court can force that on you. It's like saying you are forcing a baby. Did the National Working Committee disprove what the governor said then? If they had disproved it, to say, no, governor, you are on your own, that list emanated from us. He said it at several forums. And the National Working Committee never, in any way, denied. The press took all of this. Did the National Working Committee deny then that what the governor was saying was not correct? So if you are saying that because of an ex parte order, how can an ex parte order impose on you what never emanated from you? And so in going forward, you should have told the people in clear terms, yes, this list emanated from us. Oh, no, this list didn't emanate from us. If not, an order of court cannot impose such on you. It's not possible because you can't put something on nothing. It won't stand.
Now, if the National Working Committee is saying they are unable, because there is an ex parte order now, so everybody will maintain status quo.
You see,
The list stands in compliance.
my position is,
Yes.
before you acknowledge the list, before you acknowledge the order of the court, but answer the question, did the list in the first place emanated from you?
If the National Working Committee is making this press statement,
saying because
acknowledging the list, and they are not in any way disassociating themselves from the list.
No, see.
Are you aware of that?
No, see, I think...
They have not disassociated themselves.
And that is why I said it will be backstabbing to the governor of Rivers State. Who?
Okay, you feel the National Working Committee is betraying the government?
The leader of the state has said it publicly, not privately, that the purported list that came out as the caretaker committee members is not from the National Working Committee. I think at that time, what any reasonable organization or a body would have done is to say, no, that list emanated from us. But they never said anything. Silent is golden. Nothing was said until after a purported court order. And then you now issue a press statement saying that because of the court order, unfortunately our hands are tied. But answer the first question in the first place. Before we get to the court order, did this list emanated from the National Working Committee? Make it clear to people. It's a simple thing. It's a simple language. You cannot say because of court order. Court order, if those lists did not come from us, no court order would impose them on us. Because you can't put something on nothing.
Okay, let me ask you, Mr. Daniel, who published the list?
The list was published allegedly from the National Working Committee, and the leader of a subnational now of the party, in person of the governor of Rivers State, publicly at a public forum.
But you just answered that it was published by the National.
No. You see, sometimes when we have seen severally, news comes out and certain bodies denied, no, this didn't emanate from us. Several times. I'm not talking about the PDP. Several times.
So if the National Working Committee did not come out to deny the list, it means that it comes from them.
No, it is not. In my place, they say it is not every stone that is thrown in the marketplace that you react to. You are too busy. You should not react to that. But I think that,
let's say an impostor published the list, then there will be need for the National Working Committee to raise a disclaimer. Or if the National Working Committee doesn't want to raise a disclaimer, publish their own list.
No.
But now,
the governor of the state.
Mr. Daniel, hold on.
No, the governor of the state.
Mr. Daniel, hold on. There are the contention is not the authenticity of the list. Because
no, I think that is the premise.
Hold on, because there are no two lists. If there are two lists, probably list by the National Working Committee and an alleged list by someone else, or an impostor or another faction, then we can say there is a contention. But the contention is the governor is saying, this is not my list. This is not what, according to you, we agreed on. Now, the question that I am asking is, who then published the list?
No, see,
and you are now saying, allegedly. You use the language, allegedly, the National Working Committee.
No.
Now, the second question, the follow-up question I now ask is, did the National Working Committee come out to deny?
No, see, first, let's ask ourselves, the executive governor of Rivers State can speak for the PDP in Rivers State. Is a leader of the party. And what he said is what we are holding on to. If others have said anything different, okay, if the leader of the political party called the PDP has said, come, this list flying around is as good as fake. The National Working Committee never said, oh no, in contrary to what the governor has said, no, this thing came from us.
All right, let me read a statement in this press release. It said, However, the second paragraph, however, while emphasis on, while the River State Caretaker Committee list as published.
It didn't say by them.
Hold on.
Okay.
As they are referring to a list they published. They said this particular press release is not a disclaimer, Honorable Mr. Daniel. You agree with me?
No.
It's not a disclaimer.
Of course.
They are saying that the caretaker, listen, while the River State Caretaker Committee list as published stands in compliance with the order of the courts.
Order of the court, not from them.
Yes. The order of the court is saying...
As imposed.
Hold on. What the order of the court is saying is stay execution, which means it will not be implemented for now.
No, all action stays while those people remain.
Now, it's now saying while it stands. The contention, what they are saying here is that they will seek a political solution to the issue of the River State Caretaker list. But however, their hands are tied because of an ex parte order. So they never came out from the first day up until now, even anywhere within this press statement to say, we are not the publishers of the list. The list is not coming from the National Working Committee.
But you see...
do you understand? First, your argument is, as long as they were silent and they did not come out to answer the governor.
No, you see...
to respond to the governor's claim that the list is not coming from him or it's not as agreed. Then the authenticity of the list should be questioned. That's what you're saying, right?
You see, for example, if a news broke out, as a responsible media organization as yours, you check for certain things. One, was issued by this same man who issued this press statement now, by Debo. You check some things. Not one single one. Anybody who can bring to say, oh, Debo signed this list, oh, there was this meeting that was agreed, and these caretaker committee members were formed and asked to take affairs of River State. And in compliance with that, the leader, which is the number one in the state where we are today, has said, no, that list is as good as fake. For me, as an outsider, what I first take is that I have taken a voice that I can hold on to say, this person has said, because he has a name, has said, no, this list does not exist. And every other party kept quiet. So in other words, can the governor speak for the PDP in River State? Yes. When he spoke, what did he say? He said that list was fake. If there was a contrary opinion, I expected the National Working Committee then to have said, no, we are not in agreement with what the governor has said. But all parties kept quiet. In other words, the River State governor can speak for the party. And he has spoken for the party. Now, if you now come out to now tell me that we want to stay action, but unfortunately the court. But that's what I'm saying. Go ahead and say. Are you saying that what the governor said, he was lying? Tell the world. Let us know. So, saying that, oh, because of a court order, and my position would then be, if that list does not come to you, no court order can impose that list on you. Don't hide under that. No court order. Because you can't put something on nothing. It will not stand. For, like, I give you an example to say, oh, a woman, and the court say, no, you gave birth to the baby. No, the woman didn't have pregnancy. There was nothing. So, no court order can impose any caretaker committee that never, in the first place, came from the National Working Committee. How can the court impose that?
The court is not imposing. The court is saying everybody should stay action.
Yes, why the committee should go on? What it means is that the committee is working, but stay action. The National Working Committee cannot tamper with it. They have to continue until that court order is vacated. That is the simple meaning.
Now,
and you see, let me tell you, the danger of allowing that list to stand is that in the next 3 months, they will wants to conduct that election. And so that will be unfair to every other person or to every member of that political party. That is the danger. That is the fight you see is going on. So to come and say, oh, that's what we are saying, mention and say, this list came from us. Everybody would understand. And say, oh, governor, probably, maybe you didn't consult well. This list came from the National Working Committee. That's the simple thing you have said. What you have just done is that you hide under the court order and say, oh no, our hands are tied. No. Say, did the list come from you? Because the court cannot impose what did not come from you.
When they, I still read what they said. When they said the list as published stands.
As stand.
Do you understand?
The order of the court makes it stand.
Now, let me read the other statement.
Okay.
It said, after an extensive deliberation with the National Working Committee, noted the existence, they are acknowledging the existence of the court order.
Okay, sorry.
Hold
I'm
on.
coming.
So
you see that court order, every statement going forward.
Hold on. He said, noted the existence. Now, in this statement, they are noting, acknowledging the existence of an ex parte order issued by the Federal High Court, Abuja, restraining the National Working Committee from further action with respect to the status of the River State Caretaker Committee list, underlining as published. Do you understand? Now, if there is an ex parte order on a list as published, and there is contention about who published the lists, I am sure that the PDP National Committee will go on to produce an authentic list that comes from them. No, because this list originally is not even coming from them, according to you.
It didn't come from them.
They never said it never came from them. This press release is to say that they are staying, they cannot act on the list.
Okay.
This is what this press release is all about. The press release is not saying...
Were you aware that the governor said that list was fake?
Hold on. The press release is not saying that the National Working Committee is not aware of the list. Now, if there is an ex parte order and the list is not from the National Working Committee, ordinarily, what the National Working Committee would come out to say is that this list in the first place is not ours. This list in the first place is not coming from us.
No, can the governor, can the governor speak for PDP?
But when I am following your argument, questioning the authenticity of the list, that was the argument. Now, I am saying, when you talk about authenticity of the list, this press release will not be talking about addressing the caretaker list as published. When they say as published, it is clear it's coming from them. Ordinarily, if there is an ex parte order on a list not published by an organization, the organization will come out to raise a disclaimer to that list.
Or any of his affiliate body can react.
Because at this point, there is a contention about the authenticity. And a court has ruled or given an injunction over the authenticity.
Okay.
Now, what ordinarily anybody or organization would do is to come out and say, regarding the ex parte order on this list and regarding the list, it's not coming from us. Now, but what they are saying is, we cannot either amend, review, or revisit the list because of an ex parte order. What that shows by extension or by implication is that the National Working Committee is owning up that this is coming from us, but there is, our hands are tied right now. Okay. I don't know if you understand. So when you're raising an allegation, when you're raising a concern or an argument on the authenticity of the list, I don't know where...
Let's look at it. You remove it gradually. Let's agree now to the things that were said, right? It was agreed that the governor said it was fake. That is not in question.
Disregard the list.
That is fake. That is not in question. Two, can the governor of the state speak for PDP? That is not in doubt. He can speak for the PDP. Three, did the National Working Committee counter the governor about what he said? No. Agreed, that was not said. Yes, it was not said. No, I'm coming.
I'm not interrupting you.
Yes, if going forward, after several days, someone went to court, took an injunction that this list stand, and then you now come out as the National Working Committee to first say, because acknowledging that there was a court order, it's as simple as that. This list emanated from us. It doesn't cause. That's why I said
doesn't the press statement answer that?
No, it didn't. You know, it hid itself. It hid itself.
What would satisfy you What action would the National Working Committee take?
Yes,
that you find satisfactory.
Yes, while we acknowledge the court order, that list initially came from the National Working Committee. It came from them. Let them say it. Look, list you are seeing is to take control. Okay. And in fairness to whether the governor or the minister of state, minister of the FCT, can we be fair to all and give a level playing ground to all? Why should a list, how can a list, without the consultation of the leader of the states, it's not done anywhere? The governor has to be aware, because he's the one that leads and others will follow. But how can you now go to the National Working Committee and then send a list to him as if he's a class prefect that does not have anything to say to him?
If you say national, you know that there was a statement released before now, and it's not particular to Rivers State. I hope you are aware of this. That
because of the meeting,
the caretaker list is not peculiar to Rivers State. It's across board, across all PDP states.
But
are you aware of that?
Were they in consultation with the sitting governor? Which of the states that the National Working Committee did that in the absence of the governor or without the knowledge of the governor? Which state? No governor would allow it. No governor. I'm telling you, no governor would allow you choose the man who will run the affairs of that party without his input. That's disrespect. Because what kind of leader is he? A ceremonial leader? So the truth is, the caretaker list that you are seeing, because in the next 3 months, there will be election and all of that, because the office's junction that you see is to see that those members of that caretaker committee are the one to conduct this election. That is all of the power play that you see. It's not like probably maybe the caretaker committee would no. Who controls the structure of the party in the states? That's what you are saying. So if you know that there's already a divided house, the National Working Committee admitted it, the PDP Governors Forum admitted it. If there is something like this, why not settle it? If you cannot, leave a level playing ground for everyone to go to the field and contest that. But don't allow a governor wake up one day and he reads about one list flying around. And I challenge anybody. Did they sign any list of the caretaker committee that was released anywhere? It was not there. It was just something we saw in the media and all of that. Asked you anything?
Did it? Haven't I read
it? No, they were hiding. No, they are hiding under.
I read it for you.
They are hiding under the court order.
I also asked you a direct question, Mr. Daniel. But I also asked a direct question. Who published the list? You said allegedly.
No, I said
National Working.
Look,
I'm quoting.
Yes,
allegedly. And I also went for that to read from the press statement, where
they were hiding. They were hiding under the court order.
All right.
They were hiding under the court order. It doesn't cost you anything to say that list came from us.
So now the contention for you is the silence, the fact that the National Working Committee never came out to say
anything until there was a court order
from us.
Yes.
And even as they made a press release acknowledging that the list stands as published. Now, I also said, the list stands as published by who? Published by, they are addressing a list they published. But it's simple. If they did not publish that list, and there is a court order, they don't even need to respond to it. They will only come out to raise, but that's a fact. They will only come out.
You are not a politician. That's why you are talking this way.
We are out of time for this. We are out of time for this. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Tuesday dismissed an interlocutory appeal that was brought before it by the All Progressive Congress APC and its governorship candidate in Bayelsa State, Chief Timipre Sylvia. The appellate court, in a unanimous decision by a 3-member panel led by Justice H.A. Barker, further ordered the APC candidate to pay 400,000 naira fine for filing the appeal it described as time wasting. It held that the cumulative cost should be paid in favor of the Independent National Electoral Commission, the People's Democratic Party, Governor Doye Diri, and his deputy, Senator Lawrence Erujapo, who were all listed as respondents in the matter. What do you make of this, Daniel Mumo?
I think, for me, in cases like that, should be sanctions.
Okay.
You see, he who alleges must prove. It's a standard. If you are alleging that the proof, let it not be that people just say something and they get away with it. No, the 400,000 is too small. Their certificate should be called to question. And once they prove, it can be handed over to them. Or a fine or something grievous should happen. You see, the members of the bench, they call them now, they should be careful. You see, some of these delays tactics that you see, it's not coming from the politicians. It's coming from those we call the Sun and others. In all of those things, you know that when it comes to election matters, it's time bound. And you go to this court, you go to that court, you do all of that to stop. It doesn't make any sense. And then when the matter was now, the judgment was to deliver, you now said you have withdrawn. Why did you initiate it in the first place? So again, when I heard the news, I thought the matter, because Timipe Silva then congratulated Diri for his victory. And so if you congratulate him for the victory, is it that somebody now advised you, no, you have something that you can win the election at the court? Because in Nigeria, I tell you, the most difficult thing to prove in court is election cases. Okay. Yes, because see, from several judgments from Supreme Court, you have to prove from polling booth to polling booth. You have to call several witnesses, and most of the time, because of the time, some are able to call 5 or 6 out of several thousands of polling booths that existed for that election in Bayelsa State. And so for me, I think the 400 fine is too small. When you allege that, especially that a judge is biased, you must prove. It's on you to prove what you mean by that. And because most of the time what they do now is accuse a judge and ask the judge to excuse itself. No, a judge should not excuse itself. Prove. And when the judge is found wanting, the judge too should be punished. But the burden of proof should rest on you, who alleges that those judges are biased. And I think the 400,000 is a small thing.
They should have paid more.
No, they should have paid more. They should have paid more.
So now, would you say is too much? Is leniency from the court? You think
it's a pat on the back? It's just a pat on the back. We must begin to do it. That is why you see, for example, corruption cases. Some corruption cases will last 10 years. All kinds of injunction, all kinds of things. And they are not coming from the junior lawyers. They are coming from the senior lawyers. You get to court today, they will tell you, oh, we have appealed what was said last week and all of that. We had to wait. And then you see cases expanding. But unfortunately, the election cases are time-bound. And then you come up with all of this kind of allegation. I think the 400,000 is too small.
All right. There is a crack in Edo State Labour Party over the emergence of Alufo High Oluyinka Faith as deputy governorship candidate of the party as against Alhaji Asama Yusuf Kadiri San as its preferred candidate. While the party faulted the Independent National Electoral Commission for still presenting Alufo High and tagging it a technical error, a youth group within the party, Shine Your Eyes Group, on Tuesday commended the INEC for adhering to the rule of law in deepening democracy in Edo State Labour Party candidates list. A statement signed by its chairman, Comrade Jonah Ifada, and Secretary Osage Omorege reminded the party that what the electoral body has done is in accordance with the law and deserves commendation. Mr. Daniel, I am sure you are aware of the LP Guba candidate in Edo State. And initially, there were allegations that Alufo High, Faith, a female, they put her on the list to save time because there was a deadline. INEC had released a deadline for all parties to submit the names of their candidates for the Guba election. Now, at that time, there was still back and forth on the person whom Apata actually wanted to use as running mates. And then they now had to use Faith. Now, after the submission, they now decided that, okay, let's change back the names. And, you know, that crack started. Do not forget that the obedience in Edo State, in Labour Party in Edo State, now came out to give their support to the APC candidate, saying that, and their grouse was that there were issues within the Labour Party and the primaries and how it went, that they were not comfortable and satisfied with it. Now, with these developments going on, INEC has published a list, and the name of Faith is there. They did not replace it with the Sun as a Labour Party were pushing for. Now, what do you have to say about this whole drama?
Several options. Unfortunately, our kind of politics, it does not give time enough for consultations on who will become a deputy. Don't forget, a deputy is of results that you can get at a particular place that can makes you want to take a deputy for a party. So sometimes you can even take a deputy that you don't even know anything about. Take, for example, the APC in Edo State. The man who contested the election with the winner, or the person who was initially declared the winner, is now the running mate.
Yes.
So some of these things are allowed. But, you know, during the national election, the presidential election, that's when I saw it. I didn't know that a placeholder was allowed. Even the man who won the now president, who was a candidate of the APC then, used a placeholder of a man from Katsina State. He was there until the time allowed. Now, the question I want to ask the Labour Party, because it is not the person himself, Akpata himself, no. Once you win, the party is the one who now coordinate the administrative affair. They are the one to relate with INEC. They are the one to do all of these things. Those are purely administration. Was it at that point that all of these mistakes happen? Because it shouldn't happen. There are certain things that it should not happen. Why? Because there's the administrative aspect of the party that takes here its own purpose is not election. Its purpose is to interface with INEC. This is our requirement. This is our credentials for our party. All of those things. Akpata as a person is not supposed to even bother himself thinking about that. Two, once the party now agree, all of the actors agreed that Mr. A will become the deputy, you should begin to even remind your own party or the people concerned from the administrative angle, oh, we have about 6 days remaining to replace this person. Please, what name is agreed on? All of these things, that is how the organ of a party work. I'm surprised when I was reading it that INEC went ahead to publish because INEC has time, that's rules. So whose failure was it? And we need to ask ourselves those cogent questions. Two is that, for me, my opinion is that if she was a placeholder, let her resign. If INEC is not, if somebody dies, you can even replace, if somebody can resign. She can resign. Write to INEC officially, I have resigned. And then INEC...
Maybe she doesn't.
You see, it happened in, was he Imo State now? The man who they said was supposed to be the placeholder refused to step down. Yes, in Imo. He refused to step down. Yes, he wants to be governor. He refused to step down. So, if she's not in same category, I expect that she should write to the party and write to INEC that I'm withdrawing. I no longer want to. She can give a reason, so that the party can be allowed to put the person they want there. But I think it is a lapses from the political party. It should not be from Akpata as a person. No, the party is supposed to be the one. Because when Akpata became a candidate, he doesn't write INEC. That's not his business. His business is now to coordinate and see how the campaign and all of that would happen, how his manifesto and all of that would, with the party, would go smoothly. He should not concern himself with the administrative work that the party is supposed to handle with INEC. So I'm surprised that a party would have allowed that time and not replace and still allow INEC to publish the list, and then you now start complaining. No, it is the administrative aspect of that party that failed.
Now, Labour Party in Ondo State already have suffered a huge hit with the with the obedience already.
In Edo State?
Yes, in Edo State. They've already suffered a huge hit with the obedience already disassociating themselves and supporting APC right now. Now, with this crack, this issue, because the placeholder in the person of Faith already would have people she represents, will also have people who want her there, and also have the sympathy of females, the women. And you cannot remove the influence of women in politics, you know. And now the Labour Party is insisting she has to leave for this other son to be the running mate. How do you see this playing out? Does Labour Party at this time even need this kind of problem?
Unfortunately, they are digging their own grave. He who goes to Equity 2 must come with clean hands, open hands. In the first place, was she put there as a placeholder? If she's put there as a placeholder, please resign. For equity's sake, for your integrity. If that was, I don't know now, if that was the initial agreement, it behoves
the Labour
on you.
Party has always said it was the initial
yes,
agreement.
it behoves on her to resign.
So that
no.
So that
yes, the main person will come. That's one. Two, regarding what the obedience are doing, you see, the truth is that politics is local. And there's this thing in the governorship must come, the governor rather, must come from the south, the central in Edo State. It must come from the central in Edo State. That has been across parties, across ethnic groups in Edo State. But you know, unfortunately, Akpata is coming from the same senatorial zone with the governor that is going out. He is from Benin. Obaseki is from Benin. And so you might have some of these shifts of persons and support, not because they support somebody at the national level. When it comes to Edo politics, it is a local thing. And so I am not surprised that you get to find of a political party. One, because politics is local. And then on the other one, I think the party has itself to blame, because you must be sure of the person you are using as a placeholder. It should never even come out. It should. Other parties did it now. Labour did it with Okukwe at the national level. Okukwe was announced as the deputy for Peter Obi when he won the election. Okukwe was the one that was used as a placeholder. When they did everything and they got the man from the north, from Kaduna State, Okukwe stepped down. So what's difficult about this? So I think for integrity's sake, she should excuse herself. If it is true, I wouldn't know. If it is true that she was actually brought there as a placeholder, she should excuse herself.
All right. Worried by the acrimonious tension generated by the last Saturday's governorship primary in Ondo State, the national leadership of the ruling All Progressive Congress has invited Governor Lucky Aditiwa and the 15 aggrieved aspirants that participated in the primary election to a reconciliatory meeting. The leadership of the party, according to sources, is equally worried about the fate of the party in the November governorship election if the tension among the aggrieved aspirants was not resolved amicably before the poll. Those who participated in the governorship primary election include Honorable Mayowa Akinfolarin, Chief Olusola Oke San, Senator Jimo Ibrahim, Mr. Wale Akinterinwa, Honorable Isaac D. Kekemeke, Honorable Benga Edema, Mr. Ohunyeye Olademi Felix, Honorable Olujimi Odumayo, Honorable Olujimi Odimayo, Mr. Olusoji Ehinlanwo, Morayo Lebi, Prince Diran Eyantan, Professor Francis Faduyile, Engineer Ifoluwa Oyedele, Mrs. Fumilayo Wahid Adekojo, and Engineer Funke Omogoroye. Correspondents reliably gathered that the national leader of the party, Umar Ganduje, has invited Ayadetiwa and the 15 aggrieved aspirants to a meeting in Abuja on Thursday. Now, Mr. Daniel, what do you make of this reconciliatory move by the National Working Committee?
You see, when a local election is conducted and a winner emerges, it now becomes the affair of the party, not an individual again. That is why the leadership of the party is now inviting everyone. Now we have a winner. Now we have an election an election for November, and I think this is the right way to go, in the sense that it is at this meeting things like, okay, who becomes your deputy? Why don't you bring this? Oh, you get this commissioner, your camp will get this, your camp will get this. So all support base will now come from those who had hitherto lost that election and are aggrieved in one way or the other, or probably maybe the election wasn't conducted well, or and all of that. This is where it is now resolved by the national level. So from this point, it will be crazy for Aida Tiwana to be concerned about, would they send his name to? No, that's not his business anymore. That's not the party's business to take care of. So once the party call them now, is for them to say, okay, guys, we now have a winner. Oh, all of you have contested. So it is in such meetings that some political parties sometimes, okay, you, what do you want? It's okay, no, I want my money refunded. I want the money I spent for the election refunded. And they'll say, can you? So these are where those issues are clearly, because whatever war that we go to, election is a war like this. Whatever war, you come to the round table and agreed, so that you have a formidable house. And I keep saying, it is in places like this that sometimes your deputy will emerge. A man you never known before. Unfortunately, that is how politics is. So it is in meetings like when they come now.
Compensatory
yes,
roles.
they now said, okay, what do you want? How do you want? All of that, it is now resolved. So that they can now face that election as a united front. But I think it's about the party has seized the moment and called them together. And I expect that probably if they go for that meeting, they should come out smiling and accept what the party has said.
And do you see them working together, like they were able to pull together
it's politics.
Edo State?
They will do it. It's politics.
So you see what happened in Edo State playing out in Ondo State?
Look, when I tell you that it is for us who analysts and we are calculating, politicians know what they want. Some of them knew that they came into the election, they will not win. But because they want something, they will be called to say, okay, in that round table, okay, how do we go, guys? Governor, what are you ready to give? It is in meetings like this, okay, your camp will give this commissioner, when local government election come, we'll give you 2 slots. It is in meetings like this that it is done. And so that's why sometimes when we see issues, how come this one, they have agreed all of those positions. Yes, because you see, even in the Bible, the spoils of war are shared. When you win an election, you share various positions. It is agreed. It's a standard thing all over the world. Even in the civilized democracy, that's what it is. When you win, you sack every other person. But calling them together is the #1 thing, that they are able to sit around each other and look at each other and congratulate each other and welcome each other. So that by the time they leave that meeting, it will be a go for them that they would handle that election as a united body. You mentioned Edo State. The camp that was fighting the other, did they not give them deputy? They're giving them deputy. It's a standard operation. They will take it because it's better than nothing. They will take. That is the deputy that you see. I am telling you, there are other concessions
elsewhere
they have given to others, and they would agree based on that. Remember what the former governor said here, Governor Wike, ex-Governor Wike. He said during that Edo election, somebody had already won that ticket. The person was asked to step down for this current governor to take that because he decamped to PDP. In a very, yes, Wike said it. And all of the money that one has used to do the camera, it was refunded to him. So that's how politics works. So when they now come together, the one who is angry, he will say what is making him angry. The one who doesn't feel satisfied, he will tell you the reason. The one who just said, okay, he will congratulate the governor. And then there was, okay, guys, let's put heads together. Probably you would even find out that the one who will lead the campaign, it will come from one of them. That's how they do it.
Now it's a game of interest, and
Of
they
course.
need to protect their interests, so they
As
pull
a political
together.
party. So if you shift away from the table, you are
And
blocked
they
out.
lose their elections. At the end of the day, whatever compensation would come to you would go with the loss of the
course, of
elections.
course.
Interesting. All right, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at Kano crisis. The state chairman backed Ganduje, and Ganduje has a comeback for Governor Yusuf. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. There are POS operators. She said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the turn thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people. All of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You understand.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
No agreement with the EU, but
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Thank you for staying with us. A still open conversation on Atlantic Television Network. The Forum of All Progressive Congress State Chairmen on Tuesday passed a vote of confidence on the national chairman of the party, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje. The delegation of 37 state party chairmen gave the endorsement during a solidarity visit to the secretariat of the party in Abuja to pledge their allegiance to the embattled national chairman. Addressing the gathering, the acting chairman of the forum and Lagos APC chairman, Cornelius Ojelabi, said they were solidly behind Ganduje and would defend him against external aggression. During this solidarity visit, national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress Party, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has accused the Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf, of sponsoring impostors to orchestrate his recent purported suspension, describing the governor's action as dramatic and only fit for the Nollywood movie channel Africa Magic. According to him, the leadership of the party remained focused in spite of the needless distractions. Mr. Daniel, you were smiling while I was reading.
No,
what do you think?
you see, first in truth, the Nollywood is a serious business. And those are people's career. Okay. And people burn out time to create things that we watch. So the Nollywood is not just for riffraffs. And so referring it as what somebody did as fit for the Nollywood is not, it's a joke taken too far. Now, having said that, you see, all of this is just pointing to one fact, that whatever happened in Kano, where the ward chairman said he has suspended the national chairman, and what did the party do, like what we were saying in the first place, is that these persons are not known to the party. And so whatever action taken can never be considered by the party as legitimate. I don't know if you understand, in relation to what we started with. And that is why you see all of these visits and all of that. One is because this man is still in the good books of the national leader of that party, which is the president. And so if it's in the good books of that, so you see all of these visits.
The president has been silent since this debacle. Has the president said anything?
You see, check the history of him and Ganduje. Even during the election, he said Ganduje was someone you can rely on. In one of his political campaign, that Ganduje is one that you can rely on. It is also him that brought Ganduje to become the national chairman, and he has not said anything. Remember how Shomole was booted out of APC as the national chairman? It's because the president, once the president feels comfortable with you, whatever that you do, you are still in his good books, and you see all of it was led by. So it was because Ganduje is in the good books of the president. And so what comes out from the National Working Committee, that these persons are not known to us. So even if that man had gone to court, it will not stand. They don't know him. He's not a member of their party. How are they not expected to take into agreement what they have done? But in truth, the ward chairman, he's not an APC member. Did he not show his APC card? But unfortunately, the party said we don't know him.
Now, initially, the party did not say they didn't know him, because when that suspension announcement was made, the first reaction was from the local government council chairman, who suspended them. Then the state's working committee backed them up immediately. And they did a press release where they said the council chairman suspended them, backed up by the State Working Committee. They said that they are suspending them on account of anti-party activities. Not that they were not members.
Continue.
They now said they are suspending them based on anti-party activities and accusing them of being in bed with the NNPP. Now, less than 24 hours after that press release, another faction, a second faction now came out to say that they are the authentic ward executives. That in fact, the first people that announced the suspension of Ganduje, that they are impostors. Initially, based on because now the question would be, why would the council chairman, why would the State Working Committee suspend people that are not originally in the party? On the allegation of, I want you to understand how the whole thing has, evolved into they are being impostors. Originally, the party, by the reason of suspending them and accusing them of anti-party, you can only be anti-party when you're a member of a party.
Yes.
So, which means by the reason of that suspension, and even the reason for the suspension also went further to prove that the party in Kano State really knows that these people are members of the party. Right? It was only after a second faction came out to say they are the authentic ward executives and these people are actually impostors. That was when the State Working Committee now changed their song and now said, oh, they are actually impostors. Then, shortly after that, on Sunday, this last Sunday, a third faction came out. And heading that third faction was another Ganduje, this time around, the national chairman's nephew, who said that they are now the authentic ward executives, and both the first and second faction should be disregarded. And in one breath, also suspended Ganduje. And now the National Working Committee came out to also disown them and tell them that you people are also impostors. So now we are dealing with two impostors and one original, allegedly original ward executives. So now it's a conundrum right now.
Anyone recognized by the state is the authentic.
But the state recognized the first set of people that suspended Ganduje when they suspended them and accused them of anti-party activity. What does that mean?
No, you see, for me, I had faulted when that thing started in River State, spread to Edo State, went to Benue State. You cannot just wake up overnight and suspend anybody. If there are issues, what you are supposed to do is to write the person, inviting the person to say, these are the issues we have against you. A committee has been set up, a disciplinary committee has been set up. Please face the disciplinary committee. Then the disciplinary committee would now bring out to say, these are the issues, this man is guilty. Then you go ahead and suspend. But unfortunately, people wake up and decide to do what they want to do because, you see, so that's how I was telling you the other time. Politics in Nigeria is difficult to understand. What you see or what appeared to be like is not what it's meant to be. That is not what it means. You see, what is happening in Kano are two things. Rubbish the national chairman is a political actor in Kano State.
Now,
and he can cause damage to NNPP in Kano State.
Okay, let's look at NNPP because there are allegations that apparently Ganduje is accusing Governor Yusuf of Kano State, who is from NNPP. Now, there are allegations, and of course, by the statement that Yusuf is being dramatic, he's playing, what he's doing is fit for Africa Magic. Now, this whole debacle started with Ganduje calling out Governor Yusuf over projects in the states. And then, while calling him out, took a step further to take a swipe at the party, NNPP. Do you understand? So now, NNPP responded to Ganduje and gave him a piece of their mind. And shortly after that, Governor Yusuf also came out to address Ganduje and also reminded him that he has corruption cases to answer to. And that he, Yusuf, will follow it up. And he also promised him that the dollar saga, the Gandola video, will have to be properly investigated. You see, so shortly after that, you know, a panel was set up. So Ganduje has to answer to corruption charges. Do you see what is playing out now? Now, when that came up, there are allegations of corruption, of misappropriation of public funds. So the ward chairman now suspended Ganduje and told him to go and answer to the allegations of misappropriation of funds.
Are they caught?
Well,
to decide? No, you see.
He said the warders could see they are a cult to decide. What was the reason for suspending Uche Secondus?
No, see, that's
what
what
was
I'm
the
telling
reason
you.
for suspending Adam Soshomole?
All of these things are wrong. I'm only saying I never gave my consent to issues like that. I went strictly against it because you are violating some basic principles of a man who contested an election, won that position. Now, you see, what is happening in Kano State is not about whether for the good of the people of Kano State. No, it's for the next election. And Ganduje is a force in Kano State. He's an ex-governor. He's a force in Kano State. Remember that he was together with the national leader of NNPP.
Can you also take away the influence of Kwakwanso?
No, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
Do not forget that Ganduje, see, I feel this is deeper. Do not forget that Ganduje was Kwakwanso's protege.
That's what I'm telling you now.
And taking a swipe at NNPP was indirectly poking his fingers into the eyes of Kwakwanso. Don't you see it that way?
No, see, let me tell you. Politicians are looking at the next election.
Okay.
We are here just debating what they are doing. They are looking at the next election. And the things that will give them problem in the next election should be removed.
So now NNPP is seeing Ganduje as a major threat.
Like I told you the other time, deputies, most of these deputy governors that you see, they are not friends to the governor. Some of them, the governor had not known them before, probably would have just been hearing about them. It is elections that bring them together, and for the purpose of winning an election, that is why they came together. Because probably you came from this block, oh, you can give us this vote. They bring you in to become a deputy to a man who is running as governor. And so when Ganduje came, Ganduje was a force. He came and they aligned with Kwankwaso and they won that election. When he was leaving, the same man agreed that his deputy should take over from him. He won that election. And so let me tell you, see all of this back and forth that you see, the dollar issues that you see, it's not because we want the people of Kano to be able to get the benefits of the stolen wealth of the state. No, it's for the election. Who would cause problem for them at the election? Let me tell you, when Ganduje was saying, look, for the past how many months, what have you done? This and that. The first thing they did was to fire the EFCC chairman and say, please release the report that you had about the investigation of Ganduje. No, nothing came from the EFCC. They set up their own body. And then you now see that a ward chairman somewhere, he's saying that a national chairman of his own political party should go and answer to questions, and so because that you are suspended.
Now, let me ask you, Mr. Daniel. Number one, what chairmen are constitutionally empowered?
Same
to
way.
Suspend, correct?
No, to suspend.
They don't suspend anybody.
You cannot be your judge. You cannot be the judge in your own. Okay, if you accuse the man, if you accuse him, what fair hearing are you giving?
They did not accuse him.
You don't have the power.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Daniel. In developed climes, when a little accusation or anything that is personality defaming or character assassinating comes to you, anything that will make people question your integrity, especially if you're a public office holder, you see these public office holders willingly resigning, either to answer to it or they just resign, right? But in Nigeria, why is it different?
No, see,
is it because, I mean, the issues of fraud, graft, misappropriation of public funds is so common that we don't feel the weight of the allegations anymore. Now, if someone has a case to answer of abuse of office when you were in that office, and you are still in public office, the right thing to do is it not to answer to the abuse of your office before you also enter. But when you clear yourself, you can resume your office. Is that not possible? No. So why is it that in Nigeria, politicians and public office holders, highly placed public office holders alike, when they have serious issues of corruption, was he?
No, he was not
suspended.
No, but the point is, do they have the power? Without the ratification,
if I may ask, they cannot suspend.
No,
okay, there must be ratification of the suspension. Who ratifies it?
The state. The state. They are all under the state.
Who ratifies the one the state ratifies?
No, that's what I'm telling you. That it goes to the national. No.
Then see, who at the national will ratify it?
No.
So are you saying Ganduje will ratify his own suspension?
No, let's put it this way. I do not like the word that in a Senate claim, no, they are worse than us. Less being will do. Not just Nigeria. No. Donald Trump is worse than Nigerian politicians. He's still contesting election in America. He attend courts. Is likely going to win that election. So these things is all over the world. Let it not look like, oh, it's only just happening in Nigeria. No, that aside. You see, first, has Ganduje done anything? Those ward chairmen are APC ward chairmen. They are not ward chairmen of Kano State. No. They are APC. In other words, the activities of the APC. What activity of the APC has, or infractions that Ganduje has committed that warrant that the ward chairman and take a decision because of what he heard the governor has said? There are NNPP in that state. Your concern, your mandate of the office is APC, not PDP, not the good of Kano State. No, it's the APC. And you must concern yourself with the mandate of your office. To go outside of it and say, because of what the governor said, who are you to do that? So, for me, you must give fair hearing if you say you want to suspend the man. And all of that, that must happen. If that doesn't happen, unfortunately, Ganduje remains the national chairman of the APC.
Now, what you're saying, in essence, if I understand you, you're saying that they don't have a constitutional reason to suspend Ganduje because the issue that Ganduje has to answer to does not in any way affect APC.
You see why they can suspend?
There are no infractions against the party by Ganduje.
You see.
So that was, I wanted to wrap it up to understand.
No, if it was anti-party, you know.
Than this episode of Open Conversation, do not forget you can always stay connected and follow us on all our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogulorensha Choma. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the temple of justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world.